Welcome to Eazystar Variety Society. And this week, it's all about number 7, Michael Vick. And I've been waiting to do this episode for the perfect moment. And I'd say since the NFL has finally, got that lockout situation fixed up and one can turn their mind towards the football season, and the first thing that comes to my mind for the football season is Michael Vick. Yeah, I made my old Mike Vick shirt. Yeah. So anyways, no, actually the head of my art department, Miss Brenda, made this for me. But anyways, I love it when a plan comes together. So we can fix our mind toward this upcoming 2011-2012 football season, and Mike Vick comes to my mind because that's my favorite player. He wasn't always my favorite player. Of course, his chronicle challenges that he's gone through with the dog fighting and everything, that does play a part in why he's my favorite player now. But not because he was a dog, but it's the overcoming qualities that he has displayed since his return that have just made him my favorite player. I mean, he got the whole world stacked against him, and he coming in like, I'm not a ex-dog fighter. I am still the best quarterback in the NFL. That turned me on. Like, can he hold that mentality? Because that's takes a champion to do something like that. So that's why he's my favorite player. But I want to kind of start the story kind of way. Yeah, I'm just gonna sit here and chit chat. I don't know if I'm gonna have any stats or pictures, anything for you like that. But I think the story is good enough, captivating enough to where we could just go through it and would be entertained for the evening. So here we go. I'm gonna really just start this off in 2007. Now, see, as soon as I say that, I want to go back again. Michael Vick first comes into the NFL, and he's drafted as the first African-American quarterback to be drafted number one in the whole entire draft. He's the first African-American to be drafted in that position. Already at that point, there's a lot of controversy behind Michael Vick, and a lot of that controversy started before the dog fighting. In fact, there was a lot of animosity towards Michael Vick before the dog fighting situation. And I'm going to try to minimize how many times I'll say that too as well, just out of respect for the fella. So he comes in, number 1 draft, bang, already off the cuff. He's an athletic quarterback with a strong arm, but the NFL scheme might be too complicated for him. And me, I'm like, I'm gonna just put it out there straightforward. It seems to me it's getting better in this regard, but especially back then during this time when Mike Vick was drafted, black quarterbacks, it's like, especially when you get to the NFL level, it's like, let's make him a wide receiver. Let's make him a slot back. Let's make him a slash player, because he could never have the intelligence or the resolve to stay in the pocket long enough to be an NFL quarterback. He won't be able to read the defenses. He won't be able to fit the ball through windows, smaller windows than college and high school. He won't be able to put the ball on the money through these little smaller windows, because the game is faster in the NFL. And him being number 1 kind of excluded him. I don't want to say excluded him, but it kind of made it harder for teams and coaches to put him in that box. So, but still, they made him a kickoff returner. How are you going to be a starting quarterback and a kickoff returner? That's crazy. They should have never did that, but he agreed to do it. So, and he came into the league and just set the league on fire. I mean, if you was watching, what is that, 7 o'clock, at 7 o'clock on Sundays on ESPN when they do the countdown of the highlights of the games, you was waiting for Mike Vick game to come on. The truth be told, even if you wanted to see him get cracked and you wanted to see his helmet fly, if you didn't like Mike Vick, you was waiting. I mean, if you're a football fan, he was showing you things you never seen before. And I remember discussing it with I had a good friend named Josh, and I wasn't into Mike Vick. Like I said earlier, I wasn't into Mike Vick. My friend Josh was like, Delano, he got a raspy voice. Delano, you gotta see Mike Vick, man. Oh my God, he's phenomenal. He's getting on these people, man, and just going off. But then he broke it down. It was like, Delano, he like 1.5 steps ahead of everybody. Like, not only his feet is 1.5 steps, but he could like see. He see 1.5 seconds ahead of everybody else too. And you know, after a while, I eventually settled down once in a while and caught me some Mike Vick, and I understood what they were talking about. And I'm a Buffalo Bills fan all day long. I didn't invest much of my time, but when I did catch Mike, the announcers covering the game always questioned his ability to stay in the pocket. Just the same old black quarterback stuff, right? And I'm sitting here like, are these people crazy? I don't know this dude, Mike Vick. I don't know him, but he's throwing bombs down the field with complete accuracy. His ball's trajectory is the most laser-like trajectory that I have ever seen. I mean, he's a short cat too. So his mid-range game, nice. Not sliding through windows. He's gotten better. He wasn't super great in his first few years in the NFL with the, how can you say, your check down game. You know, the bomb, mid-range, then your safety running back screens or whatever, you know. He wasn't really super great with his check down because the game was fast, and he knew this old dude with this motorcycle live in our complex, man. I really want to put a muffler on his whole game. But anyways, he knew he could run for 10, 20, 30 touchdown and a strike. Like he knew he could put his head down and a strike. Now, put his head down and run and strike that way. And whether or not it's actually the most traditional football. If you look at traditional football, the quarterbacks ran a lot back in the old, days. Passing wasn't really, the big deal. It was mostly a running game. So Mike Vick really, in a way, was a kind of a throwback, real traditional quarterback. But you take it 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, passing becomes prevalent, and it's actually conservation of energy. If you can throw the ball 20, 30 yards as opposed to running it, you save time off the clock. Everything. You just got more chances to make more efficient strikes. So, but the reason I bring up tradition is because in the most recent traditions, Mike Vick wasn't a traditional quarterback. Well, his feet are antsy. Basically, they were trying to call him a coward. And that's what they try to do with all athletic quarterbacks that leave the pocket, especially if they're quarterbacks of color. And this is my observation. It's not my opinion. This is my observation and objective observation. Like, all right, this happened 1 week I watch TV, 2 weeks I watch. Every time I watch TV and get a chance to see announcers commentate on a white quarterback and a black quarterback, these are the patterns of observations that I see. So I'm not being opinionated, really. So black quarterbacks will always question about their cowardice or courage in regards to staying in the pocket. And if they leave the pocket, it's either because they weren't intelligent enough to read the play, or they weren't courageous enough or calm-headed enough, too emotional. When you call a man over emotional, it's really calling him a weak person. You know what I mean? So, but still, yet and still, these quarterbacks would be maybe too emotional, not calm enough to stay in the pocket, read the defense, and get these passes off. Meanwhile, the quarterbacks that stand in the pocket, take that last hit and get jacked up. You know what I'm saying? Jacked up. You know what I'm saying? Until Tom Brady got cracked in the knee. They changed the rules for him. But anyways, I'm not going to get there. I'm not going to even go about it like that. Because this is a celebration of Mike Vick. All right, now, he did have a weakness though. Mike Vick had a weakness of throwing that middle section of the field on the right-hand side was his weak spot. Least completions ever, and that was one legitimate gripe. You know, if you wanted to complain about Mike Vick, that was one legitimate gripe. And then they started doing the what do you call that? The shadow, the dog guy, the linebacker. Usually they would use a linebacker from the other team and just shadow him. You know, wherever he went, left to right in the pocket, laterally in the pocket, they would shadow him. And when he decided to leave the pocket, they'd be on him. You know what I'm saying? And half the time, that still didn't work. You had to have an exceptional linebacker to do that, but he's still getting busy with his arm. The dude got laser accuracy. And like I said, cannon strength on his arm. So, I mean, anything that people really could use to criticize Mike Vick seemed to be, to me, coming from a place of envy, a place of, let me put it to you this way. All professional sports, although they are for our entertainment, they are also like safety valves for us to get pent up energy out. Traditional living, going to work 9 to 5s, whatever. Most jobs don't really give you enough to get your full, to get your full store of energy off of you, you know, and burnt out and expelled and everything, and they can store up in you and become problems in society, right? So, all professional sports, in a way, are geared to kind of like let the population, especially male aggressive energy, be released in a civilized manner. So, and also, what I find out is, what I find in my observations is also professional sports are used to control the population, control how the population behaves. And again, I'll just put it this way. Mike Vick was the first African American quarterback drafted #1. I mean, the first. And we live in America. And that was in the year 2000. It was in the it took to the year 2000 for somebody to become the first. But anyways, I don't see that as a probable. I don't see that as a probable reference or measurement to what what truly could have happened if black quarterbacks, when they go to quarterback, they weren't pushed to wide receiver, pushed to these slot positions. If they were actually, if faith were actually held in black quarterbacks, like faith is held in Donovan McNabb today and Mike Vick today and a couple other quarterbacks. It's still out there where the faith is not as strong as it should be, but it's getting better, like I said. So